Steve, is Misha in Inichavara, Stroer who are in Idirbhliain an seo in MEASÚNÚ. Hello everyone, my name is Miss Martina McNamara and I am the Transition Year Coordinator here at MEASÚNÚ. I'm going to give you a brief overview of the Transition Year programme and what it entails for our students. So firstly, I'm just going to give you a little bit of a background information on Transition Year. It was introduced to schools in 1973. And by over 20 years, it had gained a lot of traction, and there were over 163 schools involved by 1993. It was mainstreamed in 1994, and the latest figures show by 2020, over 612 schools are involved in the programme. That involves approximately 42,500 students, which covers over 80% of all post-primary schools. So it is very evident that it is a very popular programme within our post-primary schools here in Ireland, and it's a very, very important programme, as I will explain throughout the presentation. So, Codéan Idirbhliain, what is Transition Year? So it's a one-year school-based programme between junior and senior cycle. So we complete the junior cycle from first to third year, and then some students opt to engage in Transition Year, which bridges that gap between junior and senior cycle. It is designed to act as a bridge between the two by facilitating the smooth transition from the more dependent learning of the junior cycle to the more independent self-directed learning required for the senior cycle. Our current third year students, our current junior cycle students, have been developing these independent self-directed learning these skills required for senior cycle, as the junior cycle curriculum has changed over the last 5 years. So I suppose engaging in Transition Year will therefore further enhance these skills and enable students to kind of make that jump from junior to senior cycle in a smooth manner. So what are the aims of Transition Year for any student that wishes to engage in it? Well, you see here through the Venn diagram, all these skills overlap with each other and allow the student, I suppose, to engage in the programme and enhance and develop different social and personal skills. It looks at education for maturity with emphasis on social awareness and increased social competence. So there's a focus here on the whole social aspect of learning and how students become more cognizant of what is going on in society and how it affects us as people and members of society. The promotion of general, technical and academic skills with an emphasis on interdisciplinary and self-directed learning. I suppose that's very important that we look at the different types of skills, that we move away maybe from the focus on academic, which is focused on within the junior cycle, and we look at how we can, I suppose, engage in our learning as self-directed learning and take on the onus to focus on our learning and lead it ourselves. Education through experience of adult working life as a basis for development and maturity. So I suppose for some students, this year will offer them some time to reflect on the 3 years they've completed in post-primary school and look at how they can develop personally, hone in on skills they wish to develop, and also allows them a little bit of time to mature. I suppose if we were to look at Transition Year and think about how we would describe it, the DES Transition Year guidelines state that Transition Year promotes the personal, social, vocational and educational development of students and enables them to prepare for their role as autonomous and participative members of society. And I suppose I focus on the whole autonomous and participative elements of that statement. So the students have autonomy to look at their learning, get involved, focus on which different areas of their learning that they want to, I suppose, enhance and get better at, and allows them to become better members of society by doing so. I suppose Transition Year also enables students to have a greater responsibility for their own learning and to take that responsibility and get more involved in decision making. It also helps students to develop a range of transferable critical thinking and creative problem skills, which are vital to the world in which we live in. It also prepares students for the world of work, and I'll be speaking about that later, where students complete blocks of work experience and get to engage in different areas of work which they might wish to engage in their future careers. It also enables students to develop basic competencies in key areas according to their individual needs and their individual learning. So I suppose it allows for the development of self-confidence, and they develop different skills which they can transfer into their everyday lives. It's important to remember that within Transition Year, the focus is not exam driven by any means, so it's learning led, it's school based and it's student focused. And that's a very important element of transition year on Idirbhliain and Showing Whale Clash and Clor, Tandem or an MEASÚNÚ. Okay, so the emphasis is on learning. So transition year school is student focus, as I alluded to. Teachers' expertise is used. So different teachers are, have different know-how in different areas of different subjects. So they're honed in on and utilised to develop and provide the programme. Individual syllabi are written. There's varied teaching and learning. I suppose varied roads of teaching and learning engaged in. There's varied assessment, and it's a school-based certification. So the school develops and promotes the programme within our own remit. So I suppose the question one might ask is, why opt for transition year? What is the benefit of engaging in transition year? So if we think about some of the following, it might allow us to think about why it is important that one would engage in it, and might help allow the student to go from junior cycle to senior cycle with, I suppose, maybe less challenges and more of a smooth transition. So firstly, what are the challenges that face our young people? There's many changing attitudes to education. Every day, education is changing and evolving. There's a need for skill-based learning. So learning skills, developing and applying them to different situations. We look at the age probably of our Irish students. Students are now maybe a little bit older completing senior cycle and moving into their careers or else onto further studies in college. It allows them time to mature and develop. It gives them space to reflect and plan for their future. Students also develop new competencies. And a lot of research has been completed by different colleges, especially Trinity College, and looking at the impact of TY and the many positives that TY has to offer. So it's important that when a student decides to go or engage in transition year, that they look at all the positives one can take from it and how they can make it their own year and enjoy it to the best of their ability. I suppose if we look at the challenges facing young people, if they go straight into the Leaving Cert cycle, they have to look at subject choice, they have to look at the Leaving Cert and what assessments involved, CEO choices, the course requirements. And then if they wish to continue on with their studies, they move to third level. And there has been a lot of studies done that there's a high dropout rate for some students when they get to third level because they're not able to deal with the challenges and stresses that presents. I suppose they have to leave home, they have to, self-manage. So TY allows students to develop those self-management skills, or time management skills, study skills, because it engages group work, individual work, and research, and enhances their ICT skills. And it also gives them that little bit of, gives them a year to mature. So their age profile is a little bit older, which usually entails being more mature. So that dependency culture is kind of eliminated. So if we look at the core subjects involved, we can see here that within our programme, Gaeilge, English, French, Maths and PE, so Gaeilge, Béarla, Francais, Mathematics, Agus and Corpadacus, these are the core subjects. And when we're talking about transition year, we look at it as an onion. So basically there's 4 layers to transition year as a programme. So we have the core subjects at the inner layer, Leaving Cert subject sampling with different TY modules, and then we call it the calendar, one soft layer, where there's different activities that occur throughout the year. We have some subject sampling available here, so students will engage in sciences. We look at physics, biology and chemistry, different ones. So, it allows them to engage in all of them, which is brilliant, as science is very, very popular, a popular subject site. We also have home economics, and within home economics, students get to engage in barista training and culinary skills, which I'll speak about in a few moments. There's technical graphics, engineering, technology, computers, art, enterprise within business studies, music, history, geography, Spanish, young social innovators, which the students are currently completing at the moment, finishing up their project, which they completed prior to Christmas. We have, sorry now, I'll just move to the next slide. We have on Gashka, the President's Award. So all transition year students engage in the President's Award at bronze level, which is a fantastic award and a fantastic achievement to attain within the year, and also for their CV. They engage in work experience placements. We have 3 blocks, 1 in November, 2 in February and 1 in May. A lot of guest speakers are involved in different subject areas, and teachers invite them in and online virtually at the moment. And we have a lot of outdoor pursuits to be engaged in. We go to Delphi for team bonding, we go paintballing, we do the Goshka trek. And within each subject area, there might be some field trips. We also engage in community care and community involvement, and we like to give back to our community, which is integral to transition year. So as you can see there, it's a very, very busy, very hands-on based, practical based program. So the students get to develop different skills that maybe they didn't get to hone in on throughout the junior cycle program. We also engage in drumming, within music, enterprise, within business studies. The students some of the students are finishing up their mini company. We engage in different competitions. We do first aid, driver theory. We look at mindfulness and well-being, which are integral to our students' learning. We also engage in a lot of charity work, and the students this year raised over €5,600 for St Vincent de Paul as part of their Young Social Innovator project, looking at poverty as a 24/7 issue. And they also get to engage in barista and culinary skills. So we do this in conjunction with the LCTV, and it's a fantastic opportunity for students to engage in skills they may not have gotten the chance to if they hadn't engaged in the year. So if we look at transition year units, the learner is at the core of all that transition year is focused on. So our students are at the core, and then we hone in on different areas as teachers to enhance their learning. So I suppose the methodologies are na MODHEOLAÍOCHTAI, MEASÚNÚ, they're very active and learner focused. So the teachers are facilitator of learning. The students engage individually and in teams to complete activities, and I suppose collaboration is encouraged, and it allows students to work together and to get used to working with other people and doing work individually as well, and I suppose developing their innovative and creative skills. There's group peer work, a lot of role play, simulations, project work in different subjects. We've guest speakers, negotiated learning, and practical work. So there's a wide variety of methodologies for different types of learning. An integral part of transition year is assessment. Now, it's not exam-led or exam-focused, maybe as some people might anticipate. It is, I suppose, there's different forms of assessment which make the year very, very enjoyable and allow us to see and measure how our students are getting on with their own learning. So as the DES guidelines state, assessment should be an integral part of the learning process in transition year and not separate from it. So it's not like we do something and then maybe at the end of the year we'll assess it. We assess it as students learn. So there's different types of assessment. We have portfolio assessment, oral assessment within languages, project work, self-assessment, peer assessment, written practical assessment, skills assessment, and the credit system as a program coordinator is one I very much feel is very beneficial to our students. So our students will be awarded a certificate at the end of the year, and it'll be based on the amount of credits they have accumulated throughout the year for the different aspects of transition year, from the very basis of maybe completing one project to completing their driver theory, to completing first aid, to time management. Credits are awarded for different skills and allow students, I suppose, a motivation or an extrinsic motivation to improve in certain skills. So I suppose when we complete the year, it's very important that we look at the evaluation of MEASTÓIREACHT. This is very integral to me as a program coordinator to improve the program always going forward. So evaluation is taken on board by the school, whole staff, feedback, individual subject teacher, students, parents, employers. So I suppose all stakeholders within the program provide feedback to me, and it's very, very important for me to analyse and reflect on that to allow me to enhance the programme from year to year and see what's working and maybe what needs to be improved. I just hear a little projected cost list over the year. Now, this year, last year and this year were a little bit different in the sense due to COVID and due to many restrictions that we didn't get to engage in some of the things we planned. But on the other side of that, we got to engage in things we hadn't planned for. For example, barista and culinary skills came on the fore, and we got to engage in those, and any student within those courses will give you or would explain to you the fantastic opportunities they availed of. So there's just a little oversight. we try to keep costs as low as possible. We engage in fundraising through cake sales and through any initiatives we can apply for and get funding for. So these vary from year to year, and we, as a program coordinator and as a school, we try to keep them as low as possible. I suppose before I go, I just want to say that the hallmarks of the successful TY for me are the fact that it comes down to planning, I suppose, a year that is enjoyable and I suppose meets the needs of all our students as individuals. I suppose I look at firstly how we tailor the timetable, how we deliver the timetable in terms of methodologies with a focus on active teaching and learning, and the focus on locus of learning. I look at a program balance. So I suppose it's multi-layered, as I alluded to the onion analogy, that there's core subjects, sampling, then there's modules, and then there's the calendar timetable. I suppose we try to move away maybe from the traditional school tests to maybe more class-based learning and out-of-school activities. And we look at honing in group skills and individual study habits with new modules and new subjects. So I suppose it's very important that the students, when they decide to go into TY, that to think about why they'd like to engage in it. I suppose there will be an interview prior to entering TY, and I suppose what I want students to think about is 3 things they would like to get out of the year. And I always keep those 3, I suppose, aims that they'd like to achieve, and then we reflect at the end and see did they achieve them. So I hope that you will consider transition year for the following year, and I thank you all for listening to me. Thank you.